if nothing else, they really have decided to hold off on the identity of Kashin Koji as long as possible, because this chapter was one big tease. Well, probably not one big tease, but you get the point if you've read the chapter. Yeah, welcome everyone, Sanji Uchiha here. So welcome to my review for Boruto Manga chapter 46. Of course, if you haven't read the chapter, I'd highly recommend it. It was another decent chapter, has its problems, well, maybe not, but let's talk about that today. Be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe if you like Boruto content, discussions, all that jazz. But yeah, let's get right into it. So chapter 46, entitled True Identity. Of course, it more so speaks towards Isshiki Otsutsuki. It's another chapter that really and truly touches on information that's not too far out of the realm of speculation that we've had up until this point, but at the same time I found the information much more interesting, much more relevant than the previous chapter, which was more so almost 100% information that we definitely knew for the most part already. So I have to give it to this chapter over last chapter. This chapter focuses on the start of the fight between Kashin, Koji, and Jigen, as well as divulging to us, the audience, more information where karma is concerned, and it's very interesting. It kind of ties into the whole, in terms of like the dialogue that was used, it kind of ties into the whole theme of technology that the Boruto series is pushing, so it was kind of funny at the same time. But let's kind of start. So the chapter starts off with Kashin Koji versus Jigen starting, and honestly, Kashin Koji isn't doing bad at all, mixing it up, ranging from performing fire style jutsus, toad oil, dark swamp techniques, all techniques that are very reminiscent of Jiraiya. And of course, as I had said in my expectation and lots of the discussions leading up to this chapter, is that this chapter is the start of, it's a very crucial or critical point for Kodachi and Ikimoto, because they need to really establish the villains, the antagonists going forward, to set the stage for the series, especially since it's not going to be as long as Naruto. But at the same time, if he really fails to accomplish that, then at least get the characters that we're emotionally invested in riled up, so it at least gets us more invested. And even though we didn't get that like full blown for this chapter, I'm still interested in finding out what's going to happen, and especially that one panel where Naruto, who I'm glad, or I would expect a lot of persons expected to make note of, where Kashin Koji is concerned, is his fighting style. Naruto in this chapter, is like saying, the way that guy fights, it's similar to. So of course the parallels between Jiraiya continues, and the tease and the holding off of Kashin Koji's identity is basically still up in the air. So that's one thing to look forward to in this fight. I wouldn't be too surprised if by the end of Kashin Koji versus Isshiki that we get the revelation that Kashin Koji may in fact be Jiraiya, or something close to it, clone, cyborg, enhanced, something. But it is what it is. So the fight itself, it's decent, nothing too crazy. It's within the realm of what we've seen before. The choreography in itself was alright. We have Kashin Koji providing a lot of distractions, especially since Isshiki has the karma seal in his arsenal in this fight. Of course, he's still pulling off the whole shrinking jutsu. But I think one of the most interesting aspects of this chapter was the karma seal, because honestly, the dialogue that was used and the way how Amado explained it to the group, it was it was kind of funny. So we basically find out that the way how Otsutsukis do it is that they convert themselves to data and basically implant themselves into the person that they want to grant the karma seal. Now, it sounds funny, but at the same time, you could interpret it as data. Okay, data at its base level is just ones and zeros, so basically might as well be electrical signals, essentially ones and zeros. So from that perspective, it's not too crazy, considering that your brain essentially works with electrical impulses. So that's not too crazy. And of course we find out that the karma seal is just essentially a backup file that's extracting. Like, it just sounds weird, honestly, especially in this whole Naruto universe. As much as Boruto tries to push this whole technology theme, it's taking some getting used to when you just kind of dish out terms like that in the in the Naruto universe. It's wild, honestly, but at the same time, interesting all the same. So we find out that from the moment it's given, it takes its time extracting into the host body, and eventually it will overwrite the person's DNA, personality, everything. It basically takes over the host completely and they cease to exist. So it kind of helps to raise the tension and stakes and for Boruto and Kawaki, and essentially trying to find a way to get a cure, quote unquote, or something. Granted, that's going to be interesting to see how they get that, because in this chapter Amado reveals that there's no way he knows of stopping the process, and the only way to possibly stop Momoshiki or the Otsutsuki from reviving would be killing the host. So, and of course that's not going to be like on the table, that's not going to be an option for for Naruto and Sasuke or Boruto right now. He's not going to kill himself. Well, who knows, considering that Boruto is being marketed or being said to, it's going to be dark. So yeah, that's not something that's on the table right now. So it does at least help to raise the tension and stakes in the story going forward. No, the next thing that we get confirmation on is that Kaguya definitely came to Earth with Isshiki Otsutsuki. Yes, so Kaguya coming to Earth with Isshiki Otsutsuki. So it has been revealed that yes, they were partners. Now I can see persons complaining or finding issue with this, because we find out that Kaguya had change of heart and seemingly betrayed Isshiki and apparently attacked him until he was on the verge of death. But the thing is, this kind of solidifies that Jigen as a character has become like a glorified plot device just to kind of push things along where Isshiki is concerned, and he doesn't really offer anything, or he doesn't bring anything to the table. So that's like one of the problems I feel persons will be having, and it's a problem I have as well. But I still see the potential for Jigen's character to still be of use and bring something to the table where quality is concerned for the story. Because the interesting thing about this is that Jigen was a monk that was just happened to be nearby, which is wild to me. But at the same time, he would therefore be a person that existed from the Siege of Six Paths time. And if it's a case where Isshiki is still physically present within Jigen's body, they could still potentially find a way to remove him and still have Jigen be of use, potentially. Until or unless they like establish like a plot point where if they remove Jigen, or if they remove Isshiki from Jigen's body, then Jigen dies. Unless they do that, but hopefully not, because that's honestly the only way I see them pushing Jigen to provide something to the story and not just have him as a plot device. So there's that, because at the end of the day, that would really and truly take Jigen out of the antagonist camp and bring him to the protagonist camp if they manage to save him. But then if his body isn't destroyed by the end of this fight with Kashin Koji, but you know what I mean. So at the end of the day, Jigen isn't really an antagonist. Isshiki basically controls his body essentially. So there is that. So at the end of the day, we basically learned that since Jigen still has the Karma Seal and it hasn't dissolved, and the fact that Isshiki has his body, like has control of his body, that Isshiki hasn't really fully revived. So that's what we learned in this chapter as well, which honestly, even speaking about all of that, it's kind of just weird. I guess Isshiki exists within Jigen's brain at this point, but we learned that once they take over the host's body, the Karma Seal essentially disappears essentially. And that's pretty much it. During the fights at the end of the chapter, we find that Isshiki assumes his level 2 karma state, but since he's still weakened, it's not much of a deal that Kashin Koji can keep up with him. And what was interesting, what I really liked about the chapter is that we had Kashin Koji summon natural fire. In the translation that I read, it translated as the Flaming Mountains, wherever that is. I don't know if it's like some generic Flaming Mountains, but it kind of falls in line with what Kawaki said during the fight with Boro, that the karma can't absorb like natural matter. If it's chakra based, then fine, but if it's natural, if you use a water jutsu using natural occurring water, then karma can't absorb it. So that was good. I really like that they keep the consistency in the lore that they're establishing, so that was good as well. Of course, by the end we have Amado saying he's going to reveal how to permanently kill an Otsutsuki, so that's going to be interesting to find out. So as we go along, the chapters seem more worthwhile since Amado has come to the village. So that's pretty much it. It was a decent chapter. I enjoyed seeing the fight between Kashin, Koji, and Jigen. It's fun to see Kashin, Koji just pulling out all the stops. Of course, the tease and the hold off of the connection between Kashin, Koji, and Jiraiya, or at least revealing Kashin, Koji's true identity. But obviously, it is being teased of this, especially since Naruto made a point of making a note of Kashin, Koji's fighting style in this chapter. As I said, establishing better villains is the main thing that needs to be focused on right now within the Boruto story, and as well bringing up the main cast of protagonists such as Boruto, Kawaki, Sarada, Mitsuki, in terms of like having their characters be more out there and, you know, having us become more invested in them. But at the same time, as I said, on the villain side, if we can't get invested in them right now, at least bring up some emotional investment in the characters that we're already invested in, such as Naruto. So seeing the turmoil that he's going to be going through depending on Kashin, Koji's identity is going to be something that's going to at least hook us into the chapter. So yeah, basically that. And of course the top chapter did raise the stakes for Boruto and Kawaki as characters, but I find it interesting that Amado, I mean, it's implied that, you know, Kawaki is the new vessel for for Isshiki, but Amado hasn't really confirmed that yet. So I'm interested to see if that's going to be the case next chapter, which more likely will. I'm probably just speculating too much there. But all in all, the chapter, although it wasn't outside the realm of everything we've speculated on so far, I found it more worthwhile to read in comparison to last month's chapter. So I can't take that away from it. And of course the end, I mean, Jigen, plot device, still potential. He is from this time of the Sage of Six Paths, so if he can be saved, if he can be separated from Isshiki, then there will be purpose in his character. That's all I'm saying. But if there's anything I missed, let me know in the comment section. Be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. We're on our way to 1,000 subscribers. Of course, leave a like, and yeah, that's all I have for this one, people. See you guys in the next one.